Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hari Bolo Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitya Gaura Hariba, Hariba, Haribol, Haribol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajagacharya Ashtottara Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Srila Prabhupada ki Prabhupada Anuga ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtigi. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Chapter 2 of 7th canto. Hiranyakasipu, king of the demons. Text 1. Shri Narada Vacha Bhratari Evam Vinihate Harina Kroda Murtina Hiranyakasipu Rajan Paryatapyat Rusha Sucha. Shri Narada Muni said, my dear King Yudhishthira, when Lord Vishnu in the form of the Varaha, the boar, killed Hiranyaksha, Hiranyaksha's brother Hiranyakasipu was extremely angry and began to lament. Purport: Yudhishthira had inquired from Narada Muni why Hiranyakasipu was so envious of his own son Prahalad. Narada Muni began narrating the story by explaining how Hiranyakasipu had become a staunch enemy of Lord Vishnu. Ahachedam rusha purnah sandhashta dajana chadah kopo jvala adbhyam chakshurbyam Nirikshan dhumram ambaram. Filled with rage and biting his lips, Hiranyakasipu gazed at the sky with eyes that blazed in anger, making the whole sky smoky. Thus he began to speak. Exhibiting his terrible teeth, fierce glance, and frowning eyebrows, terrible to see, he took up his weapon, a trident, and thus began speaking to his associates, the assembled demons. I'm reading the translations. O Danavas and Daityas, O Dvimurdha, Triyaksha, Shambhara, Shatabahu, O Hayagriva, Namuchi, Paka and Ilvala, O Viprachitti, Puloman, Shakuna and other demons, all of you kindly hear me attentively, then act according to my words without delay. My insignificant enemies, the demigods, have combined to kill my very dear and obedient well-wisher, my brother Hiranyaksha. Although the Supreme Lord Vishnu is always equal to both of us, namely the demigods and the demons, this time being devoutly worshipped by the demigods, he has taken their side and helped them kill Hiranyaksha. A demoniac mentality, carefully observe. He acknowledging that although the Supreme Lord Vishnu is always equal to both of us, namely the demigods and the demons, this time being devotedly worshipped by the demigods, he has taken their side. What does it mean? That is partial. In the previous chapter, the Lord is equal to everyone was the heading of the chapter, and it was answered, that question. But this is what Hiranyakasipu thinks. And look at all the names. Vimurdha, Tyaksha, Shampara, Shatabahu, Hayagriva, Namuchi, Paka, Ilvala, Viprachitti, Puloman, Shakuna. Sounds very little different from the regular names. It's got that taste of something different, something demoniac. Sometimes the names that I hear nowadays, the people are keeping something like this. No meaning, nothing. Just some phonetic sound. No. Jasjit, Purjit, something. Purujit I can understand. But some names. Just sounds, not names. So it sounds like that. And then their Nath, their leader is also like that. He has a view that the Supreme Absolute Truth has become relative, has taken side. He should remain absolute, above relativities, but he has taken a side. So, it's interesting to analyze each one of these points that I mentioned. Use your authority, but you don't listen to that instruction. That is a demoniac tendency. You minimize that authority. Who are you to tell me like this, like this? These are demoniac qualities. The world runs on a linear, vertical managerial system plus authority system. It is vertical, up to down. And the whole Guru Parampara is also a linear system. It's not a lateral democratic system. Everybody is equal, all of us together will do it. This is in Kali Yuga. They won't allow any one person to do it. They're very much against the verticals. They want everything platoed. Make it a plateau. All are equal. But then Prabhupada's question is, all are equal, what about dogs, fish, trees, animals, insects? They are also living beings. They are also spirit souls. They should also be treated equally. Since you are saying everything is equal, why only amongst human beings equality? Everybody should be treated equally, which they don't do. Prabhupada said they send the animals to the slaughterhouse and eat them up. So he said, where is equality? So this whole idea about equality is not actually correct. It won't work. The natural nature of the human being is to seek an authority and take advice and live life. That's how the Varnashrama is also set up. But here Hiranyakashipu is not saying there's no vertical. He's actually saying, I am that vertical. He's not against vertical. He's saying, I am that vertical. The absolute has become relative because I think he has supported the demigods. I Instead, I'm going to finish that absolute and take his position. I will be the vertical. This is demoniac tendency. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has given up his natural tendency of equality towards the demons and demigods. Although he is a Supreme Person, now influenced by Maya, he has assumed the form of a boar to please his devotees, the demigods, just as restless child leans towards someone. I shall therefore sever Lord Vishnu's head from his trunk by my trident, and with the profuse blood from his body, I shall please my brother Hiranyaksha, who was so fond of sucking blood. Thus shall I too be peaceful. Not at all violent, no? It's very sober. We're speaking about terrorism. He is the original father of terrorism. A lot of discussions now about terrorism and violence, and everywhere people show violence and therefore you get violence. You be violent on cows and other animals and everything. Violence begets violence. You see, people have got a very violent mind. In all the movies and everything is violence like nothing. Openly. So violent and bloody. Here he is actually saying that to suck the blood of Vishnu. I mean, you have to be really daring to be able to say that. I want to cut off Vishnu's head and suck his blood and please my brother. This is why he is Asurya Varya Dehina. Prahalad addressed him as, O chief of the Asuras. This is Asuric thinking. I want to kill God and assume his place. Asuras tat viparyaya. We should not immediately think, no, I am not like that. I never said I want to take the place of God. You never said because you don't know who is God. You have forgotten who is God. Once you remember who is God and you are taught about it, you may again desire, wow, why only he is occupying the position? It says here, Hiranyakasipu knows Vishnu is the Supreme Lord very well. Naturally he knows. But he doesn't want to follow his instructions. So, in spiritual life also, we have to rehearse accepting the authority of God. That is why the rehearsal is you accept Guru. Tasmat gurum prapadyeta jignashu shreyah uttamam. Guru padashayam. Rupa Goswami is mentioned in the Nectar of Devotion first. First 4 principles are about Guru, accepting. Why? It's not about, Guruship and this and that, everything. Learning to accept the authority of God. Rehearsing it. That is the meaning of education. Education means teaching you how to be obedient to God's instructions. That is called culture. That is called a civilized society. Keeping God in the center, following his instructions. This is what is called religion. Religion means first learning to submit oneself to authority, following religious principles, varnashrama, etc. Therefore, you are called a dharmic person. That's what is religion. Religion is very basic. Without being subservient to God, there is no question of civilization. Because the disease is this. The disease is insubordination to the will of God, to the instructions of God. That is the disease. That's why you've been put in this prison house. You have forgotten God and you have taken up your own role. We are not so bad because the only thing is we have forgotten God. Hiranyakasipu remembers God and doesn't follow him. So when you remember God, what will you do? Still you have a good chance of going the other side. Why? You get to know the opulence of God and his greatness. There is a chance you will become envious. A chance you will become envious. It's very subtle. Very, very subtle. You won't even know you're envious. Something will just take over you from inside. So uncontrollable. So it's not something that, oh, I know I am not envious of God. No. Unless you are envious of God, you will not be envious of others, His parts and parcels. It shows that you are envious of God. It's just that you have forgotten who is God. So Hiranyakashipu's behavior, his attitude, is a powerful example of a demoniac thinking and a demoniac consciousness. So, I will suck his blood and all that he's saying here. Demons always think that Vishnu can be killed. Wow, wait. The defect of demoniac mentality is expressed in this verse very clearly. Hiranyakashipu thought that Vishnu also becomes partial like a child whose mind is not steady or resolute. The Lord can change his mind at any time, Hiranyakashipu thought, and therefore his words and activities are like those of children. Actually, because the demons are ordinary human beings, their minds change, and being materially conditioned, they think that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is conditioned also. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, avajananti ma mudha manushim tanumashridam. Fools deride me when I descend in a human form. Demons always think that Vishnu can be killed. Therefore, being absorbed in thoughts of Vishnu's form to kill him, at least they have the opportunity to think of Vishnu unfavorably. Although they are not devotees, their thinking of Vishnu is effective. Thus, they generally attain Sayujya Mukti. Because the demons consider the Supreme Lord as ordinary living being, they think that they can kill Lord Vishnu as one might kill an ordinary person. Demons, a good point about demons is mentioned. Because they are so much against the Lord and they are so much envious of the Lord, they are constantly thinking of Him. Because they are constantly thinking of Him, they have some benefit. And the end of life, they'll get Sayujya Mukti. So how kind the Lord is. How wonderful is thinking about the Lord. Right? This is a good thing about demons. Now there are other people who may be not favorably thinking about God, but considered to be religious. Remember, you know this type of people? Not favorably thinking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. This is unfavorably thinking and still getting benefit. And there is favorably thinking about the Lord. As a devotee, serving Him, I want to do this, I want to do like that. They also are in the middle ground. Then there are those who know God but know Him as a demigod. And they worship many different types of demigods. They don't think about the absolute truth. They don't think about the absolute truth. They don't know who is God. They worship some demigod. What about them? Which category they fall? Are they falling in the middle category? Not favorable, not unfavorable. I don't know. But right now this is what I've been told and I'm doing. Brahmavadis, impersonalists, and many of the pious Hindus, all of them fall in that category. Unless they are worshipping Vishnu. They worship many demigods, they are in the middle. But actually they don't get an opportunity to think of God either favorably or unfavorably. If you look at that, demon's position is better because in the end he gets Sayujya Mukti. In the end, these middle ground people get another birth. So which is good. You may almost think that, hey, better to be a demon. No, demon is unfavorably thinking. Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadramai ki. It's important to know this distinction. You see, people are very religious, many, but they're not dharmic. People are very dharmic, many of them, but not at all religious. Prabhupada categorized that and saying, being religious but not having a philosophy is fanaticism. Being philosophical but not having a religion, not having God, he said is mental speculation. Okay, you have all sorts of permutations and combinations. That's why if you read Bhagavad Gita, you will actually clearly know who is who, where, and you'll be very surprised. You'll be very surprised. The categorization. Prabhupada was asked in a conversation, somebody said they're talking about Christians, other religions, and talking about Mayavadis in India and everything like that. So somebody made a comment, because Prabhupada is so heavy on Mayavadis and impersonalists like that. Somebody made a comment, so the impersonalists are worse than Christians and Muslims. Prabhupada said no. Prabhupada said no. But Christians and Muslims are very religious. But the Mayavadis, Prabhupada said no. Then I said, why? He said the Mayavadis are very dharmic. The Christians and Muslims don't follow dharma. Because they kill the cow and they eat it. So their dharma principles are broken. Therefore, the Mayavadis are better than those who break these dharma principles. Because the Mayavadis don't break dharma principles. They are very dharmic. They will follow Vedic codes, Varnashrama and all that, very paka. Very strict. Many of them are Brahmanas. Many of them are Brahmanas. So there are subtle distinctions. That is why a devotee of the Lord stands out. In this Leela, you will see all types of people in this Leela. You will see an abject Asura on the other side of the matrix, Hiranyakasipu. Then you see pure devotee on this side, Prahalad, Narada Muni. Then you see the demigods very materially inclined and only bothered about their positions. This is not really so greatly inclined to Prahalad or to Lord Narasimha or Krishna. Matirna Krishna, all this will be mentioned by Prahalad in his teachings. You have demigods, material desires devotees on the side of Vishnu. He is telling, no, Bhagavan has taken the side of the demigods. But actually he is not on the side of the demigods also, really speaking. But they're doing the dharma properly, so he is on that side. Because they are devotees with desires, material desires. Not as good as Prahalad at all. Prahalad is far, far different category. The Lord has appeared for Prahalad, actually, intentionally. But officially he is come because of the demigods prior to him. Both are true. But what is more important for the Lord is Prahalad. And incidentally, he'll kill Hiranyakasipu. And then he'll turn around and satisfy the demigods. You call me, I come. In one shot, he achieves so many things. God also is involved in satisfying all these categories. And in between, there are other categories of people. So this is an amazing Leela wherein pure devotion is shown to be top. Neither Asuric people will win, although they have got good horoscopes and they are on the top and having positions and enjoying those positions. They will not be successful. But it looks like seemingly that they are very successful. Nor the demigods are actually successful. They will feel, wow, we made it. We are victorious. We prayed to Vishnu. Vishnu came, killed him. The system works, pakka. The religious system, the dharma works, pakka. That is why you must strictly follow the homa, yajna and all the varnashrama principles. This way you can be very religious. This is what the demigods are thinking. It works, the system works. As Krishna has mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, he comes yada yada hi dharmasya glanir. But actually what is really working is what Krishna says, man manabhava mad bhakta madhyaji mam namaskuru. It doesn't depend on religion. It doesn't depend on Asuric people and their ruling. It is completely independent of everybody. It's only controlled by Krishna. That is what really works. And Krishna has come for that. Samoham sarva bhuteshu namedvesho astina priyaha. He is demonstrating that shloka here. I am equal to the asuras and to the demigods. I am not inclined. Samoham sarva namedvesho astina priya. Dvesha means hatred. Priya means I like. I don't say I don't like you, I like you to anybody. You're all my children. Aham bija prada pita. Krishna is very clearly mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita in several places. Pita aham asya jagato mata data pitamaha. I am the father, mother for everybody. Right? Mamaivamsha jivaloke jivabhutasana. They are all my part and parcels. Whatever bodies you may occupy temporarily, it doesn't matter. According to your swabhava, influence of the material nature. But everybody, just a general statement. But in the second portion of the shloka, Ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya. But the devotees who worship me and render devotional service, mayi te teshu chapyaham. I am inclined to them. Because the devotees are very less percentage. Normally it is asuras, whether the devas and fighting and all that. Now, what was the answer for saying that Vishnu has taken the side of the demigods? Statement made by Hiranyakasipu. Vishnu has taken the side of the demigods. He's not taken the side of the demigods. He's taken the side of dharma. He's taken the side of dharma. I instituted these rules in dharma. You must do like this, and I should be worshipped and all that. He's changing dharma. He's changing dharma, which is not his business. It is not his business. So he is killed. He is upsetting the dharma set up by the Lord, going against it and making statements completely against the supreme absolute truth. So he is killed. Dharma is set right, and for setting right dharma and running it, you need the demigods. So Krishna encourages demigods. Some managers are required, no? Managers a little bit like this, but it's okay. Somebody is to manage. Hiranyakasipu is too much on the other side. A little bit here and there, Ramba Kilotama Menaka, some little Somarasa, some mistake here, there, left, right. It's normal. That's normal. So in this way, you'll see in this Leela everything happening. But the scintillating thing, what is happening is Prahlad's devotion and his dependence on the Lord, in spite of facing his dear father's hatred. You see, here Hiranyakasipu is showing great love for his brother Hiranyaksha. My dear, brother, he has killed. But he doesn't show that type of love for his son, for his own son. He is avenging, willing to kill Vishnu. Hiranyaksha is my dear brother, this, everything. He's feeling kindred nearness to Hiranyaksha. But to Prahlad, he doesn't feel. Why? It's about Vishnu. Your liking somebody or not liking him is based on you being a devotee of Vishnu or not. So this is why when people talk about God in a very offensive way, they make fun of him, they become loose, irreligious. They are doing a very dangerous thing without knowing. Without knowing. Because when you mix with all Asuric people, you will get that tendency. You will get that tendency very easily. Association is very powerful. When you don't associate properly, you can't keep up your religiosity, your devotion, or any of these things. You cannot keep it up. That's why it's important for devotees to come to the temple, congregate, chant the holy name, hear Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, observe festivals, eat prasadam together, and enjoy the company and association of devotees. It's very important. You cannot sustain your Krishna consciousness otherwise. Prabhupada said, anybody who thinks he can progress spiritually without utilizing the tools of the Krishna conscious movement is in hallucination. He is hallucinating. He thinks he can do it. It's not going to happen. So Hiranyakasipu is devoid of any type of good association. Even though Narada Muni knows him well, even though the demigods know him well, even though many of the rishis and sages know him well, he cannot take association from anybody. Even though he meets them, cannot take association. Association is not something that happens automatically. Because I'm sitting with the devotees, it will happen. Association happens when you interact. Association happens when you serve. Association happens when you render service together. These are elements of association. Association is not that automatically it will happen. It's not that automatically we sit in the classroom, you will learn. You have to be attentive. You have to put it in your head. You have to ask questions. You have to strive to learn. It's not that simply my child is admitted in the class, automatically he will learn. No, his mind is not there. His consciousness is not fixed there. Similarly, it is not that just because you are in the association of some people physically, the effect of association has to happen. You have to desire it, you have to work for it, you have to actually use it, the opportunity. So Hiranyakasipu did not do that. He cannot do it. Because he is in a standalone position. He has no association. Because Hiranyaksha is not there. He is standing on top. I am the leader of all the asuras. Oh, Viprachati or Dhumraketu, do this, don't. That's all. And military general fighting, having sense gratification together, all that. But when I mean association, I mean a person who has the right to counsel you and you are willing to listen to that counsel. Then only association happens. At least on the peer level. At least even on the junior level. That you are able to give your association. And somebody is accepting it and you see it's being accepted. Association is dynamic. It's not something static. So you can see Hiranyakasipu is a standalone man who is claiming to be God and telling everybody worship me like God. And he's cut off from any good association. Pathetic. Sad. Sometimes if you do not have the right attitude, you will cut yourself away from association even though you are in the so-called organization. You become like a drop of oil on his own inside the water. On your own. Very pathetic. Hiranyakasipu was actually lonely. He was just having sense gratification, enjoying his position as a master and this and that. He's lonely. There's a saying, it's lonely on the top. When you climb in your corporate ladder also, the more you become, many people will look at you differently. Many people look at you differently. I know that before as a brahmachari and before that as a new bhakta, I was feeling I had a lot of friends. And gradually as you became a sannyasi, people look at you differently. People keep away from you. Now I said, why? That's how it's going to be. You're more introspectively based. And you can interact with it. But by nature, I'm not a person who just sit down alone. So it is okay. But some people will enjoy it. I want to be left alone. But to be alone and feel loneliness is different. To be alone is good, but to be lonely is not good. Hiranyakasipu was not only alone, he was also lonely. And he thought he had some connection with Prahlad, my son. So he assumed that there is no independence for him. He has to do what I tell to do. He did not know Prahlad was very different from his other brothers. Anuhlad, Hlad, some 5 brothers, out of which one is Prahlad. Kayadu's sons. One is Prahlad. So Prahlad was distinctly different because he was a devotee. And that difference, Hiranyakasipu could not stomach it. How dare you be different from me and your brothers and the whole Asuric clan? Who has taught you this? He couldn't adjust himself to the fact that there is independence and there is individuality. This is Asuric. To not adjust with individuality and to make everybody one. This globalization is like that. Destroy all indigenous cultures. No variations. Everybody should be platoed, monochromatic. One color, one religion, one globe, one economy. People are not like that. People are not like that. People are simultaneously oneness and difference. When Yudhishthira Maharaj was ruling, it is not that he platoed everybody and made everything global and all that. He had all sorts of people surrender to him. And with various types of customs and everything. They were lowest of the lowest. Even the Asura people, some of them were surrendered to him. Shelter. He gave shelter to everybody. All sorts of different communities of people. He did not go and plato them. Everybody should work. Everybody should be, having a job. Everybody should contribute to the one economy and increase the GDP. It's not like that. Especially that's why you see, out of all places in the world, India is the most diverse. Because they're used to diversity. They handle it very easily. Even inside the families, you'll see the mother will be multitasking with different types of children and different joint family members. It doesn't try to make everybody same. See, that's what when you take an employment, why you like in the employee and the employment, the organization is, there is platoing. You are a member of the organization, you are one of the thing of the organization. Everybody is treated in one way, one policy, this, and other. You like it. You like it. Actually, that is a lesser thing to manage. It's easier to manage that. It's more difficult to manage diversity. And unless you are spiritually oriented, you cannot manage diversity. Because you're spiritually oriented, you can see the unity of everybody being spirit souls. You don't need to globalize, you don't need to plateau. But if you're not, you'll start materially trying to make everybody equal, which is impossible and highly frustrating. Then there'll be free speech rallies and there'll be independent thinking and there'll be disobedience and all. It's very difficult to handle. Very difficult. It's very artificial. World is filled with these things. Terrorism, attacks, difference of opinion, geopolitical situations, different that. There's so many things you can see. Why? They're not doing that one single thing that unites everything together. To be worshipping that one supreme absolute truth. If you're not doing that, you will be beset with 10,000 problems. It will never become all right. Unity inside the material diversity through material principles is an impossible task. It's impossible. So Prabhupada wanted to show the model of unity and diversity in ISKCON on the basis of keeping Krishna in the center. We can absorb diversity. That's what is India. India, what the Mughals saw, what the Christians saw is, this is polytheistic people. They worship many gods and still they stay together. That they didn't see. They should worship only one God, my God. I'll convert them. But they didn't ask the question of them. Many gods you're worshipping, they're all staying together. How? How? That question they didn't ask. We'll go and Plato them. They tried. The Mughals tried for a long time. And in the course of operations, they understood that this guy's religion is very good here. It's got a philosophy. It's more deep. They appreciate a lot, although they were fanatics. Of course, the Britishers came and they used Christianity and religion for ruling people. You see, the Christian religion's history is very interesting. When Christ was crucified, after that a powerful message was sent to anybody. Anybody follows this type of a thing. Because the Romans were not supporting any religion. Some of them had support of the Greek gods and they were worshipping the Greek gods and all that. Caesar is supposed to have worshipped the Greek god and all. And you'll see that he's got this thing on his head, that olive. You will see he's got. So they, if at all they had anything, they had taken from the Greek philosophy. When Jesus was crucified, everybody scattered, all the so-called Christians. And the Jews were feeling great. We did it, we crucified this fellow. They were another religious group. But what happened is, over a period of time, about 400, 500 years later, I think 400 years later, the Roman Empire was crumbling. Because they never encouraged religion or something. And they found that, by their experience of 400 years, it's better to keep religion and rule people. Use the religion for ruling people, then it is pakka. God is required to rule people. They had understood it in an adverse way. They're coming from the other side, but they found a necessity for God in order to rule people and give them peacefulness. So it is mentioned that Constantine the emperor is the one who took Christianity as a state religion. The same people who crucified Christ, they took religion again. And this is the Romans, that's why you have Roman Catholic Church. And it is the Romans who instituted this Christianity and used it. And they found it successfully working. So that's why you'll see colonization that happened all over the world, from the Western world, was keeping religion close to it. Whenever they colonize, they'll convert people into Christianity. Their idea was everybody one religion means easy to rule. That's all. Use religion for ruling people. Be very religious. Go to the church, sing all. I should win this war. We should be able to. All for material principles. So that is the religion people are decrying all over the world. People are not familiar with Vedic Varnashrama religion. The same hatred towards religion doesn't apply to the Vedic religion actually. Because the Vedic religion did not go all over the world killing people and all that. They didn't do anything like that. They were intellectually strong, jnanis, and doing the karma, kanda principles properly, and establishing the absolute truth, and highly philosophically based. And very good. There were other sections of society also. Very strong in terms of lifestyle, culture, education, understanding. Nowhere else in the world it was there. Nowhere else in the world was there. So these people came and they attacked India and all those small kingdoms together. They made them feel that you don't have togetherness. You should be a nation. The Britishers came and said, we only helped you to become a nation. We set up the court, we set up the government, we set up the railways, we set up systems. You guys were just a bunch of so many, so-called kings fighting with each other and making a mess of the whole big country. We came and helped you to become a nation, which may be true in some way. Because in Kali Yuga, it's all nation-based. It was not like that in the rest of the world also before. So after colonization and all that, it became nation-based. Before that, it was not nation-based, it was kingdom-based. So many small kingdoms everywhere. And that is how ruling was. Why I'm talking about this? Talking about diversity is very natural in the material world. And if you want to destroy the diversity and bring one type of monochromatic culture and organization, it is so unnatural. Especially if you are thinking materially and you don't want religion also. It's impossible. From history you can understand Romans wanted religion in order to be able to rule, and they were successfully doing it using religion. So even materially speaking, God is required. God is required to run materially things also properly. That understanding is there. Sociology, if you see, you will see that this is in the history. That's why, if you understand Prabhupada's books very carefully, he has written about this. He said human society will fail if you don't keep God in the center. Not only for spiritual reasons, even for material reasons, you need to have a system. Otherwise it won't function. It will be fighting and everybody will do crazy things. This is what happened. Hiranyakasipu, although a powerful demon, although had great assets, punya, everything, from his tapasya, everything, he was doomed to destroy himself. Why? He was not Krishna conscious at all, not even a bit. There's no question of Krishna encouraging such a person. No question of encouraging such a person. So he was sure to be failure. The demigods were failure, success, like this. Small failures and success. Hiranyakashipu on the whole was very successful. Why? Because his son prayed for him. His son prayed for him. And the Lord said, why only Hiranyakashipu? 7 generations before, 7 generations after, all of them are liberated. Because you are such a scintillating devotee, amazing devotee, who has given himself up completely in devotional service, 7 generations before and 7 generations after. All the parents should hear this. Please give your children to Krishna consciousness. If you want, you don't have to do any devasam, you don't have to do shraddha, this, that. They all become liberated. 7 generations before and 7 years after. You don't know this great value and what an amazing benefit and profit you get. Even though they may have done nonsense. If one person becomes a devotee, everybody in the whole parampara will get 7 generations, but 14 generations will get liberated. Is it not a good proposal? It's an amazing proposal. If you really understand, everybody should jump in and join up. I want to join Krishna conscious movement. Why? I benefit my father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, down generations and generations going behind. This is the best way to serve. Your parents cannot do it like this. Give yourself to Krishna consciousness in service. That will be understood also. How Prahalad benefited his own father who was so much against Vishnu, how he benefited his mother, how he benefited the demigods, how he benefited everybody down the line. Simply by being a devotee. Simply by being a devotee. So these are some overviews on this Leela. We should be reading every morning the Nashumas pastimes. Om Tat Sat. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Any question or comment?
It is written as dharma, and Prabhupada is written it as religion, abandon all religion. So what is, and in your talk also you mentioned that dharma and religion. So what is the difference between our state definition of dharma, religion, and also pious?
Dharma is a Sanskrit word, religion is an English word.
But then when you said example of Prabhupada talking with whether that question of Mayavad people, so he said Mayavad are following dharmic. So then Christian generally we term it as a religion. So how?
No, he said you can term yourself a religion, but in practice you have broken dharma, you're eating the cow. So your dharma legs break. So dharma doesn't hold you up.
Then what should we call them, Maharaj?
Christianity. Islam. It doesn't matter. Even Hindu. If you don't hold up dharma and its principles, it's dead. It's not about Hindu, Christianity, Muslims and all that. We are talking about Bhagavad Dharma. We are talking about Bhagavan keeping him in the center, the absolute truth, and following his instructions. Whatever you want to call yourself, the Vedic literature allows you to have so many sub-dharmas, upadharmas, everything. You may not be so intelligent and capable of understanding and all that, but you can be subservient, and in this way you can be following some type of religion.
Maharaj, whom do we call as pious people?
Those who do good activity which gives them good material result.
But in category of unfavorable, favorable, in that sense,
In that sense,
how we can categorize them?
there's also, it's also Hiranyakasipu also did a lot of punya. Duryodhana ruled very nicely when the Pandavas were in the forest. There's no complaint from anybody. How? Don't think that the Asuras don't do good things. They will do good things with the idea of getting result from it. Because being pious, good things alone is not the purpose of life, it's not the purpose of religion also. This is the flaw. Don't just be a good man, be the best man. In Krishna consciousness, we know the good is the enemy of the best. Don't get stuck in the good. Don't just be religious, and don't also religiously practice Krishna consciousness.
Like even 1 second association with a devotee brings a lot of makes him a devotee. Hiranyakashipu was able to associate with Prahlad. He has a lot.
He
had a
couldn't
lot of
take the association. That's what I was trying to tell.
So what's the element that
That's why I said association is not automatic. Simply if you sit with Prahlad doesn't mean that you.
So the 1 second means association in 1 second.
1 second means actually you heard him, you served him, you had an interaction with him. Some devotees are so powerful that even though you are demoniac, they can influence you. Narada Muni, you can see that. With Narada Muni and all, Hiranyakashipu is very good. Ravana, very good counsel. Narada Muni can walk inside any time. Ravana and all will never say anything. Because he sees him as completely neutral. Completely neutral, and he can do good to me. I don't mind listening to him. It's just like the thrasher listening to Vidura. I will not listen, do it, but I want to hear from you. I may not do it, what you say, but what you're saying is correct, but I'm unable to do it. But still I want to listen to you. Please keep coming. There are all types of association. Vidura's association gradually changed the thrasher. He liked his brother, and therefore he wanted him to change, but he was unable to act Krishna consciously at all. But when a situation came which was advantageous, he went and clobbered him and pushed him through that. He said, now is the chance. He came all the way for that. And he pushed him through by scolding him, by using strong words. All these days I spoke to you so much and I know you like it, you know it is right, but you did not do. Now you have no opportunity other than doing it. So he pushed him to do it. So different types of situations, different type of association works. It's not one stereotype thing. If you say, Lavamatra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoy, right? That Lavamatra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoy, you should actively take it, utilize it, sincerely from inside. Nothing is automatic in bhakti. It is volition, it is love, it is the soul acting in bhakti with feeling, emotions, consciously. Then only the process starts purifying you. Ajnata sukriti you may do. You may sit with a devotee and do some chota little seva to you for him without even knowing it's a seva. That will help you to purify.
Maharaj, you also spoke about diversity. Like in spirituality, diversity is allowed. But when rules and regulations come up, like a limitation of diversity is there. Like we don't diverse too much. Like if there's a boundary
Within the rules, you're right. So
then like even diversity is limited. Like there is no wide diversity in that, Maharaj.
Rules don't obstruct your diversity. It's rather rules help you to achieve diversity. They are rules meant for giving you success within the diversity. Success for each individual person doesn't mean that he is free to do what he wants. Success for each person is he is in knowledge and knows what to do. That's what is success. Because he is guided by Guru. He is guided by Shastra. He is guided by Krishna from within the heart. Independence does not mean independent of the Lord in the heart, independent of the Guru, independent of Krishna's instructions. Because you are a conditioned soul, no? So to what extent is boundaries definition for you? For each person it is different. For each person it is different. In the 12th canto, Krishna is telling Uddhava, till you fully purify yourself, you should continue to follow Varnashrama. He's telling him. After that, you may give it up. So, we follow the rules and the boundary, and within that, we operate in society. Because in society, you need these divisions, you need this organization. Otherwise, everybody will suffer. There has to be some rules. If you go on the road, there are rules. It says here, only left turn. There's a check light. And there is a footpath for people to walk. And there is a white line. There's a traffic line, speed line. All that is there. Otherwise, it will be so chaotic, no? There will be so many accidents and people will be yelling and screaming at each other. So it's very useful to have a system, to have some rules. We'll abide by them. Anybody who breaks it is fined. All that is appreciated. Nobody says no. Why? Because it's needed. For me to reach my home, it should be a place where it's nicely governed, full of rules and everything, and I'll follow those rules and reach home. It's good, I appreciate it. Similarly, human society needs religion to be able to afford what to do, what not to do, how to do, all those things. Then human society is peaceful. They don't clash with each other. Because now it's a godless society, and they have relativized Krishna's God's instructions, and they all have man-made instructions for guiding society. It'll be a mess. They're discovering that, oh, this rule is not correct. Maybe we should change it like this. We must change it like this. We must change it like that. Because in principle, they don't have any rules. In detail, they make all sorts of patchwork rules. Under underlying principle, there are no rules. But this is underlying principle. Based on the swabhava, karma, and his guna, how it is affecting him. On the basis of that, rules are formed. So it will be paka. So don't relativize that. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Rules, dharma, religion is initiated by the Lord. So we are not saying See, people are all talking on the platform of religion, but Krishna consciousness is categorized as a religion, but we go deep in Krishna consciousness religion. Religion is only initial stages. Then there is the Brahman stage. Then there is a devotional stage. All this is explained by Prabhupada. Everybody is taken through these stages. So it's not only we stop at the religious stage. The graph, if you draw, religion is very basic for human being. Animals in this thing, they don't have religion. Why? Because they're not human being. Human being should start with religion. Otherwise, he's not even human being. He's considered to be animal. Dharme nahi na pashubir samana. Without dharma, you are pashu, animal. So religion is not an option. Religion is mandatory. Especially if you want to function in human society. That is how the Vedic literature speak about it. Very high class. Vedic literature is very high class in its sociology and its prescription for human society, how it should be managed on a scientific basis. It's not simply somebody said something in some book, holy book or something. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. It's enunciated by the Lord. It'll be very scientific, very pakka, and exactly what you should be doing. Though many people claim that we are following religion as per what God has mentioned, many times they have difficulties within our own Hindu society also. Why? Because it's not being followed properly. There's nobody to teach the instruction properly. You're just following also according to what you think is right. That's why it is nicely done. You follow the Guru should be coming in the parampara properly. He should be a knower of Krishna consciousness, proper religious principles. Then the system works perfectly. We can't beat it. Because why? It's dharmam ta sakshat bhagavat pranita, made by God. It's not man-made. So rules, boundaries are good. Within that you will feel happy and successful. You should welcome them. Human society should welcome them because it's good for all of us, individually and collectively. That means he is an educated person. He is a Pandit. Om Tat Sat Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Nittai Gaur Premanande.